Adesua had always dreamed of being famous. As a little girl growing up in Lagos, she loved putting on shows for her family, dressing up in her mother's clothes and jewelry, and parading around like a celebrity. Her parents thought it was cute at first, but as she got older, they grew concerned about her obsession with fame and image. Please subscribe. Adesua, you must focus on your studies, her father Akinwale would say sternly. All this posing and picture taking will get you nowhere in life. But Adesua didn't listen. She was determined to make it big someday, no matter what. In secondary school, she was glued to her phone, constantly posting selfies and updates about her life on Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. While her friends were studying, she was editing photos and dreaming up clever captions. Her grades began to suffer, but she didn't care. Likes and followers were all that mattered. After secondary school, against her parents' wishes, Adesua decided to pursue social media influencing full-time instead of going to university. Her parents pleaded with her to reconsider, warning her about the unstable path of being an influencer. But Adesua had made up her mind. She was determined to achieve the fame and fortune she had fantasized about since childhood. At first, it was slow going for Adesua in the influencer world. She posted religiously, outfit of the day photos, makeup tutorials, sky-high heels, and designer bags she could barely afford. But her follower counts weren't budging. She grew frustrated watching other influencers around her gain thousands of new followers each day, seemingly without even trying. That all changed when Adesua met Kunle, a young businessman who had made a fortune through his shipping company. They too began dating, and Kunle was only too happy to fund Adesua's influencer lifestyle, buying her expensive clothes, luxury bags, and paying for expensive gateways to exotic destinations that Adesua could plaster all over Instagram. Her follower count skyrocketed as people fawned over her glamorous lifestyle. Kunle didn't mind spoiling Adesua at first. She was his big break into the spotlight he had always craved. As the money man behind her social media empire, he got to share in her luxurious, lavish lifestyle as her plus one, attending events and living in the limelight through her. The two fell deeper in love and decided to get married in a stunning, larger-than-life ceremony in Abuja that Adesua of course documented every moment of across her social channels. There were designer gowns, elaborate decor, celebrity guests. No expense was spared. Adesua's followers ate it all up, and her star power continued rising. After the wedding though, things began to change. Adesua was obsessed with maintaining her picture-perfect influencer image online at all times. She became consumed with looking flawless in every photo, constantly staging professional photo shoots in her home with her hair and makeup teams to ensure she was camera ready 24/7. She started a cruel habit of deleting and reposting photos if they didn't garner enough likes quickly enough. Kunle tried to be understanding at first. After all, this was the life he had signed up for when he married a social media influencer. But Adesua's behavior was becoming increasingly erratic. She started having explosive meltdowns anytime she wanted to go somewhere casual where she might not be able to post social media worthy photos. "We can't go to Auntie Tenny's house tonight looking like this," she would shriek if he tried to get her to leave the house in casual clothes without full hair and makeup. "My followers will leave me." Kunle felt like he was living with a stranger. His wife never put her phone down and rarely spoke to him anymore, unless it was to give orders about taking photos at strange angles to catch her good side. Adeswa's obsession with crafting the perfect online image left no room for connecting as a real couple. The breaking point came on their 1-year wedding anniversary. Kunle had planned a romantic evening at home, complete with a chef-prepared meal, roses, champagne, and presents. He was looking forward to having a nice, intimate evening with his wife, away from the camera and posing for once. But Adeswa was furious. When she realized Kunle's plan meant no Instagram-worthy photos, she threw a massive tantrum, screaming at him about ruining an opportunity for great content. "How can I post anything for our anniversary looking like this?" she spat, mentioning to her tear-stained face and smeared makeup. "Did you not think about my followers at all?" Kunle couldn't take it any longer. "Adeswa, are your followers more important than me?" he bellowed angrily. "I can't do this anymore. I feel like a single man. Why did you stop loving me in favor of your precious followers?" That was the beginning of the end for their marriage. Over the weeks and months that followed, Adeswa and Kunle grew farther and farther apart. Her absence as a wife and partner, consumed by her online persona, drove a wedge in their marriage that they couldn't seem to overcome. One morning, Kunle awoke to find Adeswa had cleared out her things from their bedroom and moved into the guest room. He wasn't even surprised. It felt like their marriage had been over for months already. Adeswa was living on a completely different planet. Her head stuck in perfectly curated, edited photos rather than the real world with him. "I can't abandon my followers," she said coldly over breakfast as Kunle begged her to consider counseling to save their marriage. "They are the most important thing in my life." The following week, Kunle met with a lawyer and divorce proceedings began. Adeswa stayed in the guest room of their home, locked in an endless photoshoot cycle, until the divorce was finalized 6 months later. She feigned devastation and betrayal on Instagram for sympathy and likes, playing the victim card to the fullest, despite her obsessive behavior being the root of the divorce. "My heart is utterly shattered," she wrote in a long caption, accompanying perfectly staged photos of herself sobbing dramatically. "But I know I'll make it through this difficult time with the love and support of my loyal followers." Kunle tried to move on and find happiness, even beginning to date a beautiful, kind-hearted woman named Yemisi, whom he met through friends. But Adeswa couldn't let go. Consumed by jealousy over Kunle moving on, she began a vicious smear campaign against him online, posting vicious lies and allegations across all her social platforms, doing anything to stay relevant. Kunle begged her to move on and stop with the toxic online behavior. But Adeswa's addiction to social media attention had clouded her humanity. The likes and influencer status were an endless game of validation to be won at all costs, with no thought of who got hurt in the process. When Adeswa found out Kunle had proposed to Yemisi and was getting remarried, she kicked her spite into an even higher gear. She released private photos and videos of herself and Kunle from their marriage, hoping to sabotage his wedding day by ruining his reputation at first. On Kunle and Yemisi's wedding day, Adeswa took to life ranting and raving bitterly to her millions of followers. "This meddling woman has stolen my husband," she shouted hysterically, tears streaming down her face. "She'll get what's coming for her. I swear it." Yemisi and Kunle tried to stay strong and not let Adeswa's theories ruin their big day. But her actions cast a dark cloud over what should have been one of the happiest days of their lives. They made a difficult decision to disinvite certain guests and increase security to avoid a potential scene or ambush at the venue. In the days after the wedding, Adeswa's obsession showed no signs of letting up. She continued her vicious fixation on trying to take Kunle down in retaliation for his moving on. Kunle and Yemisi were forced to get restraining orders and pursue legal action against the defamation and harassment. While their case slowly crept through the courts, reality finally seemed to catch up with Adeswa. She awoke one morning to a slew of media headlines exposing her true self. An addicted influencer so desperate for attention, she was willing to put her ex-husband through hell just to stay relevant. The media firestorm was a devastating blow to Adeswa's reputation and credibility as an influencer. Suddenly, the same followers who once fawned over her perfectly curated life were turning on her in droves. Disgusted by her toxic behavior and inability to move on from her divorce. "You were a jealous, unhinged bully," read one scathing comment under one of her posts. "I'm so disappointed in who you really are." I'm unfollowing this mess," wrote another former fan. "Your desperation for likes has made you an awful human being." In a matter of days, Adeswa watched in horror as her following count began reducing drastically. Brands she had partnerships with began dropping her left and right, unwilling to be associated with her antics any longer. The luxury cabin she had rented for an Instagram versus reality shoot was suddenly serving eviction papers instead. With her influencer career in shambles, Adeswa was forced to move back home with her parents. Her childhood bedroom felt like a hollow reminder of how far she had strayed from her roots, seduced by the allure of fame and online adulation to the point of destroying her own marriage and sense of integrity. Sprawled on her twin bed one night, crying through emotional rubble, Adeswa stumbled upon an old journal from her teenage years. As she read through the pages, she was shocked by the bright-eyed dreams of her younger self. "I want to be an influencer, to inspire people and spread positivity," her younger self had written. "Not for money or fame, but to help make the world a little bit lighter." Tears streamed down Adeswa's face as she realized how badly she had lost her way over the years. Her pursuit for influence and online admiration had muted into an ugly obsession that cost her the man she loved and the best years of her youth. As her phone pinged incessantly with another onslaught of hatred from former fans, she made a decision. Adeswa disbanded all her social media accounts and stepped away from influencing altogether. She decided to pursue a university degree in marketing, using her natural skills for connecting with audiences for more positive impact. While it was hard at first to walk away from the fame she had craved for so long, she slowly began to heal. A year later, Adeswa ran into Kunle and Yemisi at a cafe, their baby daughter Hannah cooing in Yemisi's arms. They exchanged somewhat awkward pleasantries, but there was no hostility. Adeswa had finally learned to make peace with Kunle's new life. As she walked away, Adeswa felt a pang of remorse for how cruelly she had treated them both in the wake of her unraveling influencer persona. She also wished that her social media obsession didn't ruin her marriage, but she knew the deed had already been done. She would never get her life with Kunle back. However, she felt relief that she had found her way back to her true self before it was too late. While she could never get back those wasted years, She vowed to use her second chance at life to bring more light into the world, not sow seeds of darkness simply for empty likes that could never fulfill